Tradition is often rooted in the legacy of those who came before, those who set the precedent for a dynasty. One such tradition at Florida State began before the football program earned its reputation as a powerhouse school. And it all started with a piece of dirt.
In 1962, the Seminoles were going to go on the road to play the University of Georgia. The Seminoles were not ranked, and the Bulldogs were ranked 5th in the nation, and no one gave them much chance. Dean Coyle Moore was a mentor to the team. He had been chairman of the athletics committee, and he said, when you win at Georgia, I want you to reach down and grab a little bit of sod, grass between the hedges, and bring it back to me. Now go get them, fellas. And when no one else thought they had a chance against the crowd, against the odds on the road, the Seminoles won 18-0.
What nobody expected was the rather unusual memorialization that followed.
Since then, 104 times the Seminoles have gone on the road when they weren't favored to win, plus games at University of Florida, bowl games and championship games. And so now we have a Sod Cemetery, which has been voted one of the great traditions in college football.
Since the beginning of the Sod tradition, games away from Doak Campbell Stadium have taken on a whole new meaning, especially for those who are given the honor of bringing home the remains of enemy territory.
We pick one Sod captain, and it's that captain's duty to remember, reach down, and just sort of memorialize that great afternoon that night.
We usually try to do it in a respectful place, not in the middle of the field. You know, it'll be somewhere off to the side or something. And then once we get the sod in the plastic bag, it ends up in my hands and I put it into a safekeeping on transportation home.
After years of unceremoniously laying the sod to rest, the cemetery staff felt the turf of fallen foes deserved a proper eulogy. Recent additions to the Sod tradition have included floral decorations of the appropriate Sod games, and a fan favorite, the Sod Talk, which takes place before home games to properly remember the dearly departed.
We have a stage right outside the cemetery, and on game days, we invite a couple of players who they were part of games in which we brought back the Sod to come back and talk about their times at Florida State. We call it Sod Talk, and we say it's where the cemetery comes alive.
The Sod Cemetery is so much more than just a Florida State football relic of games gone by. It is symbolic of the sentiment that no challenge is too big to overcome, and that a team effort is all it takes to succeed.
It's very personal to them since their brothers are on the other team that they grew up with. That's just an extra joyous occasion for them in their careers when we find a way to keep winning these games and getting a piece of sod with it.
For our players and even for our fans, the Sod Cemetery is just a reminder that even on the days when other people don't think you can do very well, that if you put forth your best effort, it may be a day that really you can remember for a long time.
These Seminoles would be hard-pressed to find a better feeling than proving their doubters wrong. The Sod Cemetery reminds visitors that underdogs can always rise to the occasion, that you can overcome the assumption of defeat, lay the doubt to rest, and bury your competition. I'm Chris Camacho for Seminole Sports Magazine.